Well, good morning and welcome to College Tranquil Jaffa. My name is Glenn Moodie and I am very proud to be the principal of this school. I joined the school almost 2 years ago and I found it to be a warm and welcoming environment and also an institution which provides the highest quality of education. I am a parent of the school as well. I moved to Malaysia having spent nearly 20 years working in private boarding schools in the UK, including most recently as the head of a school in Cornwall. There is a lot to tell you about KTJ Secondary, and I will soon pass over to our head of secondary pastoral, Suresh, who will explain more. However, before I do this, I want to give you a little bit of the background of the school. KTJ was founded in 1991, making us one of the more well-established international schools in Malaysia. It was founded by 3 members of the Negeri Sembilan royal family, Yang Amat Mulia Tunku Nakiden, Yang Amat Mulia Tunku Dara, and Yang Amat Mulia Tunku Imran, and named in honor of their father, who was, of course, a king of Malaysia. They were inspired by their boarding school experiences in the UK, and their vision was to provide a similar experience here locally in Malaysia, embracing the best of British and international education, but firmly rooted in a Malaysian context. KTJ provides a comprehensive all-round education, which we feel offers the best preparation for students' future lives, education, and careers. We believe in delivering not just an academic education inside the classroom, but educating the whole person. This includes helping students to find their passions, building their characters, and giving them a global perspective. Underpinning all of this is a strong mission and ethos, which goes back to the founding of the school. At the heart of this are our values of integrity, empathy, and mutual respect. These values are central to the way the school is run and to the decisions which we make. KTJ has an ambitious vision for the next 10 years, and you can find out more about this from our publication, Vision 2030, which is available on our website. So I would just like to reiterate what I said at the beginning, a very warm welcome to KTJ. I hope you will find this morning's presentations informative, and I hope we will see you again soon. I will now pass over to Suresh, who will deliver a presentation on Forms 1 to 3 at KTJ. If you have any questions for either Suresh or me, you can ask these via the chat function. We will then do our best to answer all questions following his presentation. Over to you, Suresh.
Good morning. It's raining very heavily over here. I hope you have sunnier weather wherever you are. I have been here for 26 years and since 1994. And that's because I really believe in what KTJ stands for. The KTJ school vision states, empowering students to become responsible leaders of a sustainable global community. Some key words there: leaders, responsible leader, sustainable, and global community. We want to inspire our students to become leaders of the future. We want to prepare our students to be leaders wherever they are, whether in Malaysia or elsewhere, global citizens. So instead of talking to you today about the school for 15 to 20 minutes, I thought I would like to show you some videos that will give you a glimpse of what happens at KTJ. So the first video that normally most students are interested in, and parents too, is about the academic side. So here is a 4-minute video from our head of secondary in charge of the academic side, Mrs. Anna Fournier.
A very warm welcome from me, Anna Fournier, the head of secondary in charge of academics at KTJ. The purpose of my video is to explain something about the academics side of things in the secondary. Your lessons are going to be a little bit different in that you are going to travel a bit more. So instead of having one classroom which you go to all the time, You will travel between classrooms because each of the classrooms are set up for your specialist subject. The way that we assess you, that means the way that we carry out assessments and give you feedback on how well you've done, will be a little bit different. And each teacher will do this a little bit differently, but they all explain how this works for their subject, and they'll let you know when there's a test coming up. So please don't worry about that kind of thing. Your teachers will tell you exactly what's happening. The length of the day is another thing that's quite different because it's going to be quite a bit longer. And you will find in the beginning that it's quite tiring, but you'll get used to it. I promise you'll get used to it very quickly. You will have a mentor as well. And your mentor is someone that you will meet once a week on a Monday afternoon, quite possibly within your house area. And that person will be really important for you to talk to about how you're doing. And if you have any questions or problems, they will be a great person, along with your house parent and your house tutors, for you to talk to. Lessons are all 40 minutes long, but actually most of them are double lessons. So a lot of your lessons will be 1 hour and 20 minutes. And you will start lessons at 8 o'clock on a Monday, a Wednesday and a Friday. But on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays, which is the other big change for you, lessons will start at 8:30. Now, the structure of the day is that you have 4 lessons. So you'll need all your things in your bag for lessons 1 to 4. And then you'll have a break. Break is half an hour long, and during break time you can go back to the house, you can sort your bag out for the next lesson, you can arrange to meet friends, you can go to the cafe, so that lasts half an hour. Then you have lessons 5 and 6, and then you would have lunch, after lunch you have lessons 7 and 8, and I've put this out Monday to Friday. In fact, on a Monday you actually have lesson 7 before lunch, so we have mentoring after lunch. And then the lessons are all finished by 3:30, and then after that you will have ECAs. So it's a big long list here. So you will have art lessons, and the numbers in brackets are the numbers of lessons a week. As I said, most of your lessons will be a double lesson. So for art, you will have 1 double lesson a week of 1 hour and 20 minutes in the art room. You will have 2 lots of language lessons. If you are Malaysian, you will have Malay lessons, and then you can choose between French and Chinese. Some students will need to do EAL if that's something that they need help with. You will also have a design technology or food technology lesson once a week. You'll have drama, English, geography, history, ICT, music, maths, PE, science, and swimming. And your timetable will be published for you through ISAMS, and it will involve quite a lot of moving around the school. And you will find this quite daunting in the beginning, but you'll really, really soon get used to it. And everybody around the school is used to being helping out people who are new. Everyone was new once, and so you just ask for directions if you get lost. And your teachers are not going to be worried in the beginning if you turn up a little bit late, because they know that you've got to find your way around. So what we expect from you is that you work hard. And if you're struggling, you just ask for some help. We'd like you to submit your work on time, your prep on time, and we'd like you to arrive on time for lessons and follow the instructions that your teachers give you. And in the beginning, there'll be a lot of instructions as you get used to how we do things in secondary. But your teachers will be very patient, and they will help you through, and you will understand. Your teachers will be very patient, what's expected of you. And if you're not sure, you will understand. And then the last thing is that you need to enjoy your learning. There's so many wonderful things that you're going to learn in secondary, and I really hope that you're looking forward to learning. I can't wait to meet you.
And I really hope that you're looking forward to learning. I can't wait to meet you all.
Okay, so that's on the academic side. So next, you'll probably be wondering about the well-being side. What do we do to provide care for you? What kind of services are available at KTJ? So, and what support can you get while you're at KTJ? How are the students? And how do students behave towards each other? So here's a 2-minute video about this area. We have various services available for our students. And the first I would like to mention is our student support services. Here, you will find extra support for learning the English language and for your other learning needs too. We have a learning support department that helps you to learn in all your subjects. You can easily seek help from here. Counseling plays a very important role at KTJ. We have 2 very capable counselors. We always encourage all our students to make full use of this service. Every KTJ student has his or her own mentor. Your mentor will provide you with support every week and also be your teacher for topics like diversity, equality, anti-bullying, motivation, mental health, and online safety. The students at KTJ are fantastic, friendly, and welcoming. The seniors take care of the juniors, and the juniors take care of each other. We call this KTJ culture. I'm confident you will find the school friendly towards students. KTJ culture is intended to create a healthy environment for you to enjoy schooling. We emphasize on community spirit and support charitable causes. We value integrity, empathy, and mutual respect. And I'm sure you will soon enjoy earning your own rewards at KTJ Secondary. One important point is about safeguarding. This is an important component of the school, where our objective is to provide you with a safe environment, whereby your own development is given every opportunity to succeed. I look forward to welcoming you to KTJ Secondary. And if you ask any of the staff here what we are most proud of in this school, the answer is the KTJ students. They're fantastic young human beings now and will be great global leaders of the future. So I hope that gives you an overall view of the support site that's available at KTJ, including some of the activities that you saw on the video just now. What about sports? What about after-school activities? Here is Mr. Les Frost introducing this important area of the school. The video is about 4 minutes long.
Hello, my name is Les Frost. I'm the Director of Athletics and Events here at KTJ. And I'm going to share some information with you about our ECA programme, our house sport, and also the Fabricia events that our students have the chance to be involved with. Firstly, our ECA programme. We fully understand that academic excellence also goes hand in hand with broadening our students' horizons in other respects. So our ECA programme is comprehensive and develops existing skills and interests for students, whilst allowing them to spend time with their friends and make new friends, and also to give them the opportunity to try out new things. Our unrivaled facilities include indoor sports such as basketball, badminton, squash, and an indoor climbing wall, and a vast array of outdoor sport such as our 25-metre 8-lane swimming pool, our hockey, football, athletics, rugby and cricket pitches, which allow us to run those sports simultaneously if we wish. We also participate in local conferences such as the KL Conference and State Sport, whilst also offering friendly matches. Our other activities promote community understanding, global awareness through activities such as Model United Nations, offer hobbies and games such as chess and board games, and wellness such as yoga. Our Term 1 programme has not yet been prepared, as we're currently waiting for further information as to what we can offer in September. One example of our community service is our work with a local charity, where our students go out to help teach young local students. And those young local students then come back to our campus, where our students have also prepared lessons for them and games. Our ECAs take place after school on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday. And in certain seasons, there may also be activities before school and at weekends. Before the start of next term, you would be shared this Google Sheet. This is just one day from our Term 2 programme, which will give you the information as to what sports and activities are available on what day. The ones with a green background are payable, and if you hover over that cell, the amount that it costs will be seen. You will also receive a link to a KTJ online magazine, which gives you more information about each activity. And as you can see, we ran approximately 65 different activities in Term 2. So when you take into account different teams for gender and age, there was around 160 different activities. Our house sport is a very important part of our year, and our students are very proud of the houses that they represent. We aim to include as many students as possible. So in our team sports, there are unlimited substitutions. And in activities such as cross-country, every student that finishes the race scores points for their houses. So inclusivity is of paramount importance. We also participate in FABISIA events, FABISIA being the Federation of British International Schools in Asia. And normally we would send 6 to 8 teams a year to Thailand, to China, to Mongolia to participate in different things. At the moment, because of travel restrictions, that's not happening. The next events will be virtual events, and after that it's likely they will be country specific until such time as the travel restrictions are lifted. I hope that gives you an idea of the sort of things that we have on offer, and I'm sure that we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much for listening.
I'm sorry that some of the text in the slides could not be clearly read, but when you join KTJ, we will be sending you clear copies of those documents and that information. A reference was made to FABISIA in the video just now. And what is FABISIA? FABISIA is the Federation of British Schools in International Schools in Southeast Asia, and now they have expanded. The organization has expanded to cover the whole of Asia. We belong to this group of schools, and by doing so, we are able to take part in competitions with the schools in this organization. That means traveling to other countries to take part in international competitions. That could be in Thailand or Korea or Singapore or Cambodia, Vietnam, and other countries that we have schools, that FABISIA has schools as a member. We also take part in local competitions. And if you're Malaysians, the terms MSSD, MSSNS, and MSSM should be very familiar to you. These are competitions organized by the local, the Malaysian State Education Department, as well as the Malaysian Ministry. And we take part in these competitions too. We also regularly take part in friendly competitions against other international schools in the region, in the nearby areas. If you want to see, obviously there are not many photos in that slide, but if you want to see more photos and videos of our students taking part in competitions, I suggest that you visit our Facebook and YouTube channels. If you search for College Tunku Jaafar on either of these channels, you will be able to find us easily. Search for College Tunku Jaafar. All right, next is that I would like to talk to you about expeditions. Every year, our students go on expeditions. That is Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, Form 4, and lower 6. We don't do expeditions in Form 5 and Upper 6 because those are exam years. And the following 2-minute video will shows via photos and videos of past expeditions. So that's our expeditions for the photos that you see from our year 9, year 10, year 11, from 1, from 2, from 3. Sorry, year 8, year 9, year 11, year 10. Next is, you might be wondering, what about lessons? You know, we talked about academic side just now, but what about lessons? What are lessons like? So I have a video here from 4 teachers to show you. It's about 3 minutes long. These are videos that we prepared for our incoming Form 1 students. Mr. Ben Wakefield, Ms. Padma, Ms. Shamini, and Mr. Yalla, talking about history and ICT, as well as science.
This is my hometown of Bristol. The lesson will be about something that happened in my hometown just this week. This is a statue of Edward Colston, a famous figure in Bristol's history.
Edward Colston in Bristol stands no more. Protesters then dragged it through the street to the harbour.
He was a very rich businessman in the 17th century. He built Colston Hall, Bristol's main concert venue. He gave lots of money to churches, hospitals, and poorhouses. In total, he gave about £70,000 to charities in Bristol. That's about £12 million in today's money. So why did someone who gave so much to Bristol have his statue pulled down and thrown into the river? And what did it have to do with this?
Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
And this?
What do you want? Okay, breathe. Please,
and this. In our history lesson, we will answer, why was Edward Colston's statue thrown into the river? Should it have been thrown in the river? And why is studying history important today?
Hi everyone, good day to you all. I'm Ms. Padma and I teach ICT and computer science. Do you know the importance of ICT? So now, let's find out.
If you want to become a race car driver or play baseball or build a house, and all of these things have been turned upside down by software.
These days are software products that you play with on your phone.
Technology that we're developing right now is going to be used by your doctor in the next decade. When you come into the office and you're sick, and the doctor is going to be like, all right, spit in this cup. And I will put it into this magic machine, which is a sequencer, and in an hour I can tell you what you have.
Hello everyone, my name is Shamini and I teach ICT and computer science at KTJ. You already know the importance of computer science. But do you know computers communicate with each other using binary code? What is binary code? Let's find out.
Throughout history, almost every civilization has used a decimal number system with 10 digits, 0 through 9. All of the numbers we can possibly think of use some combination of those 10 digits. Computers, however, operate very differently. Instead, they use a number system that has just 2 digits, 1 and 0. This system is called binary, and your computer uses it all the time.
Do you know you can write secret messages using binary code? We will teach you how to do that.
Good morning. My name is Mr. Yalla. I'm one of the science teachers here at College Tunku Jafar International School. Science is such a fascinating subject, and I'm very excited to show you some of the amazing things we do at secondary school. Here at KTJ, we want our students to learn about science by doing experiments. You'll have so much fun investigating and exploring by using scientific equipment that we have in our excellent labs. I love to teach science because we try to answer the most interesting questions.
Which chemicals explode?
What is it like to go to Mars? Or which chemicals explode when they're mixed together? Or what does the human body look like from the inside? And I plan to demonstrate some exciting reactions using chemicals and flames. You do not want to miss it.
So those were videos that we prepared for our incoming Form 1 students. So if you are in Form 2, Form 3, you probably know some of the science of experiments already, but they were prepared for our incoming Form 1 students coming from our KTJ primary school. Well, I hope you have a clearer picture of KTJ secondary. And I end this presentation by repeating what I said in my earlier video. We are proud of our students. We are proud of their achievements in every way. Their achievements, their behavior, their conduct, their aspirations. Our students develop into fantastic young adults. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Suresh. We've got a number of questions coming in and we'll work through those now. I think I'll take the first one myself, which is about Saturday mornings. Yes, we do have lessons on Saturday morning in KTJ Secondary School. They run from 8:30 a.m. until 1 p.m. Now, the reason for that is around 75% of our students are boarders, and therefore, when they are in school, we want to ensure that they are at their most productive. However, we do have very regular breaks. We have an exeat, or a short break, or a longer break, every sort of 3 or 4 weeks. And that allows everyone a chance to recharge their batteries. For those shorter breaks, students can remain in school, however, if they are boarders. For the longer breaks, they are asked to go home or to go to a guardian. But it perhaps I'm sure results in us having slightly longer holidays as well, because we do work on Saturday mornings. But no, we are a boarding school, and that means that there are things going on every day, including Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, and on Sundays as well. And that's part of the holistic education which we aim to provide. Now, as Suresh, there's a question here about assessments methods used in Key Stage 3, and also a query about the use of checkpoint by KTJ. Do you want to answer that one?
Sure. So the assessment methods, obviously, if you are familiar in a Malaysian government school, then the end of year exam, end of term exams, which are summative exams, we do that as well. We do the assessment at the end of the year. But most importantly, it's not just the assessment that happens then, it's the ongoing assessments that we have to do. We call that formative assessments. And that is done not just in class, but also through the other learning opportunities that they have, to see how they are learning, to go back, to revisit what they have learned. And that is part of the assessment that we do. So it is not just based on an exam or a test, it's also through the classwork, ongoing assessment. And that formative assessment is very, very important. And the key word there is formative, building blocks, so that when it comes to building blocks of understanding and information and content, and not just that, understanding how the information can be used. Remembering information is one thing, but using the information is another thing. And we would like our students to use that responsibly, use that information wisely, and to be contributing to the global world in future, using that skills that develop. So it's not just the content, it's the skills of learning. Not only that, it's also important to understand that if you are parents watching this, you would know that there are so many careers today that never existed when we were in school. And these careers demand that people who are adaptable to take what they have learned previously and adapt to the new ways of doing, new careers, new jobs. And that is why it's important not just to learn the content, but to learn the skills, because then you'll be able to apply the knowledge that you have acquired, and the knowledge you're going to continue acquiring, because lifelong learning is very, very important, and learning does not just stop in school, but to be able to adapt that and to your future careers. So KTJ, as far as KTJ alumni is concerned, we have a very strong network of alumni, and we have students working in as lecturers in overseas. We have somebody working in the Nike headquarters, or branch of the headquarters in Netherlands, who designed the World Cup shoes design as well. We have so many people. We have people working who is a leader in a pharmaceutical company. If you know about BP Pharmaceutical, that is our former alumni of KTJ, a former student of KTJ. And recently we also heard about Bank Simpanan Nasional, and the CEO of Prudential side of investment is actually a former KTJ student. So how did they become that person, that leader? Is through those skills that they learned at school, and not just the knowledge, but the skill is very important, which is why we keep emphasizing on being adaptable, being lifelong learning, being flexible, and applying to the demands of the world at that time.
Yeah, I think I would add to that too, Suresh, that when Google recently, Google the tech company recently looked at what skills that students are going to need for the future, and did a lot of research on this, that the top of their list was adaptability as the skill that students will require. But if I could just go into a bit more of the minutiae of what we do in terms of assessment to follow up on what you're saying. A lot of schools in Malaysia run the Cambridge checkpoint, and some schools make a big deal of running that checkpoint. We don't make a big deal of it. We do offer it in maths, but only in maths. We try to keep it low key, and that's because, you know, we're providing an all-round education. We also see that young people are under a lot of pressures these days, and we don't feel it is an exam that we need to make a lot of. Our aim is to prepare students thoroughly for IGCSE and for A-level. They have end-of-year exams every year in the secondary school, and then they have trial exams going into Form 5 and in the sixth form as well. And through that, they get to learn exactly what to expect when they are in an exam. But at the same time, we do understand that there are lots of stresses and anxieties for young people these days, and we want to do our best to support them in that. Suresh, I wondered if you could go on from that and talk a bit about how Key Stage 3 prepares students then for success at IGCSE and A-level, and perhaps even beyond that.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, one is the skills that they learn. The foundation is very, very important, because this foundation will then help them cope with the demands of IGCSE and beyond. But not only that, it's also having the tenacity, having the grit that students develop in younger years, the study habits, the knowing when to rest, sleep, personal, social, and health education, preparing them so that when it becomes demanding on them in terms of IGCSE and A-level, it will become more demanding and they will find it stressful. But to be able to cope with those stresses when they get there, and that needs to be inculcated at a very young age, and that should be starting in Form 1, Form 2, to get them into the right habits.
Yes. Okay, thank you. And then obviously we're mainly a boarding school, so 3/4 of our students in secondary school are boarders. And I know for a lot of parents, particularly if they haven't boarded themselves, boarding can seem like a bit of an alien concept. Now, you've been involved at KTJ for many years, and you've been a house parent and been intimately involved in boarding, you know, throughout your time here. I wondered if you could talk about what you see as the real benefits and strengths of boarding.
Right. Well, as I said, I've been here for 26 years, and I was a house tutor for 8 years, and I ran 2 houses for a short while, boarding house as a house parent. And what I see is that the bonding that the students make, creating that network, friendship starts with friendship. And now that I'm involved in alumni, I see that friendship going all the way through, and where they depend on each other when they are abroad, when they are alone, when they don't have their parents there, when they don't have the teachers there, and they depend on this friendship to pull them through, because they will be going through tough times. There will be challenges as they live abroad, and depending on the friends and friendship that they have built at KTJ in the boarding houses particularly, and they depend on that because they're not just with them from morning 8:30 until 3:30 for lessons, but they play games together. They do the extracurricular activities together. They eat together. They go to breakfast together. They wake each other up to be on time to class. They go to sleep in the same boarding house. They do inter-house competition, which build a lot of teamwork, which build the challenges that they have to face in working with teams, understanding how teams work, understanding the role of each member in the team, and making sure that the team is only as strong as the weakest member and the weakest able person, learning all that and being able to support every member of the team. And you will see that our seniors in the house are great at nurturing the young students in their house. And that's because they are the brothers, the elder brothers, and they are the elder sisters, because they understand what they went through at when they were younger, and they saw their seniors helping them nurture. And that creates that family atmosphere within the school, where they have a house parent who is looking out for them, where they have 2 house tutors dedicated to look out for them, and they have a house matron looking out after their health and their well-being and the laundry and making sure the pantry is cleaned, teaching them the lifelong skills to be independent. They're not going to have their helpers that they have at home, perhaps. They're not going to have those helpers that they have at home, their mom, their dad, to do their beds, to clean up. And when they go to university, they have to develop all the skills. And that's what boarding houses teach. So the friendship, the care, the challenges in building up teamwork, the skills, being independent, understanding how friends work, and being somebody who's going to survive in the outer world. And that's what boarding houses do. And I've seen transformation of schools. In fact, just 2 days ago, I was talking to a former student who left KTJ in 1998, and how he is setting up business with his former housemates at KTJ, setting up a business and working together, depending on the friendship and the network that they created at KTJ in 1998. And that's what the strength of boarding house is.
Okay, thank you. Now, you know, in every school there can be cases of bullying. You know, and no school is immune from this, and it's something that, you know, young people in any environment might experience. But I wondered, we've got a question here about how KTJ handles bullying cases, Suresh. And I know this is an area in which you have an awful lot of expertise. So I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about what you do.
Okay. Now, first of all, you know, that is a question that we get asked a lot by parents and by students. If the parents are here visiting school, and if you are here visiting school, my answer would be go and talk to our students and find out their experience. Don't take my word for it, because, you know, teachers, school, they might be saying all the right things for you to hear. And I would welcome you to speak to our students, find out their experience. And that's why KTJ tours, when the school is open, is done by the students. So you get to have a direct interaction with their real experience. But coming to the question, and bullying. Now, any school that says bullying does not happen in that school at all is a school that's not telling the truth. It happens because students go through that process, process maturing, going through understanding what the issues are. And it's our job as educators and parents to educate them what is right, what is wrong, using that opportunity when something happens to educate them on why it is wrong and why it must not happen, and how we deal with that. First of all, we see it as a learning opportunity. We don't see it as an opportunity to punish, opportunity to apply the school rules. We see it first and foremost is an opportunity to educate, not just as a perpetrator, but also not just as a victim, but also as a perpetrator. Why is the perpetrator doing that? And that needs to be identified in terms of what is causing this. And that could be some underlying issues that we need to look into. And that then calls upon the learning support team or the counseling team, the mentor, the house parent, to fully understand the situation. Applying punishment is the easy part. Somebody does something, you punish, done. case closed. But that's not education. Education beyond that. Education means identifying the issue, helping the student grow through that. And that is why I say KTJ culture in my video just now. And that's what I meant by the seniors taking care of juniors, because they went through that process. They went through that process, and now they are part of the education that the youngsters get to make sure that bullying is minimized when they first join, and then they thrive because there's no more, it doesn't happen anymore once they go past that stage. But when we get students from all countries, we get students from all sorts of backgrounds, we get students from all types of schools, it's going to be a mix. It's going to be quite challenging in the beginning, but the job of a school is to make sure that everybody learns from that process and make sure that everybody remains safe. In my video, I mentioned about safeguarding. That is very important for us. If you come to school, you will see lots of posters about how to seek help. And myself and my assistant Gary Slade, we always talk to the new students, constantly talking to new students to find out how they're going. Nothing must make them feel unsafe. And the culture of reporting is very much in place. The seniors themselves will step in if they see any bullying taking place, and not just the teachers. So it's not just a matter of punishment, it's a matter of education.
Yeah, thank you very much, Suresh. Yes, and that's certainly something you've even developed further in the last year as part of our PSHE program, focusing a lot on relationships between students. We've got some questions coming in about the school reopening, and obviously that's a big issue everywhere around the world. For KTJ, we are reopening when we're allowed to on the 24th of June, so that's this coming Wednesday. We'll be open for Form 4 and Lower 6 students. Our term finishes on the 3rd of July, so it is just a very short period initially. But there has been very good news, obviously, over the last day that international students will be allowed to return to Malaysia soon. We're also able to open our boarding facilities, so we expect when we return on the 1st of September to be fully open for boarding and for international students as well. It may be that international students coming from some countries are required to go through some sort of quarantine process. If that is the case, and that can be done in school, we will offer that provision in school. But we're very excited about students coming back into school. However, we're also excited about what we have learned during this MCO period in terms of use of technology. It's brought out some very innovative approaches from teachers, not just in terms of use of technology, but different approaches to lessons, and perhaps what might be referred to as a more asynchronous approach at times, where we're able to better cater for the individual needs of the student and the pace at which they want to learn. I think we have one more question for you, Suresh, which is about, you will have already touched on this, but about how KTJ, through its holistic program, how does it build character, and what would you say a KTJ student looks like, when they leave KTJ? Is there a typical student? What are the traits that you might see in them?
Right. 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, I received these 2 comments from parents of former students, and the comments were sent through WhatsApp to me, and saying that their son came to KTJ as a very shy boy who wanted not to be seen. He left as a confident young man who was able to express his views and stand on his own, and stand and point out his viewpoints and making a difference in the world. And they're very proud of what their son have gone to achieve. Now, that is just an example from one set of parents. Now, a KTJ student is very confident. A KTJ student, and one of the things I really enjoy about dealing with KTJ students or working with KTJ students is that we encourage them to speak. We don't want them to be listeners. We don't want them to be sitting there taking everything in and then go to the exams, put everything on paper, and then get their A's and leave the school. As beyond that, a KTJ student will be able to nurture them so that they speak their mind. They see anything which can be improved in school. Please speak up. We don't see students asking questions as something wrong. We encourage them to ask questions. We encourage them to question, why is this? Why is that? How can we work together to improve this? The other aspect that we encourage our students to do is start something new. Be a risk taker within reason, but be a risk taker. Try something new. You want to try something new. You've got a hobby which is not covered at KTJ. Come up with a proposal, talk to us, propose that. That is part of the development of presenting an idea, finding hurdles, overcoming the hurdles, taking the risk, talking to the principal, arguing your case, getting somewhere, and all that. So a KTJ student is confident, is ready to face the world outside independently, at the same time have a network, at the same time is somebody who knows how to do it courteously, and somebody who knows how to do, not arrogantly, but doing it courteously, doing it with politeness that's required, respecting other people. Mutual respect is very much, as the principal mentioned at the very beginning, mutual respect, integrity, and empathy. And we teach our students to leave the school with those three values. With those three values, we believe our students will be very successful when they leave KTJ. And we've seen this time and time again. It's the journey that they make from when they arrive in school and the journey they make after they leave the school, and what learning they take away with them and make them a successful citizen of the world, if not just Malaysia, but the world. And we are very proud of what they go on to achieve.
Thank you very much. Yes, I would totally agree with that confidence factor. And it's one of the things I love is when a KTJ student knocks on my door to make a proposal about something they would like to bring in at the school, or to tell me that they think something could be better in the school. And I feel when they do that, that it's a reassurance to me that we've done our job.
If I can just add to that, our student council, which completely elected by the students themselves, and it's a democratic process, and they elect their representatives, and the representatives we meet with the principal regularly, proposing ideas, listening to the students, how to improve the school, and there've been lots of improvement in the school because of that. Such as the walkways around school, that was their idea. The redesign of the school uniform was by them. The internet quality of the internet service was prompted by the student council. The design of the new buildings, the arc, the waterfront, the tuck shop, everything has the student input in it, because student voice plays a very important role at KTJ. After all, it's them benefiting from these services. They should have a huge role in making these decisions. So the other aspect that I'm so proud of KTJ students is that they love being on stage. You saw some of the photos, they want to be on stage, not just to receive the medals, not just to receive the certificates, which they do a lot, but also to perform, to debate, to sing, to play musical instruments, to present a sketch, drama, take part in the musicals that we do, and the plays, and they take part in everything. They're just eager to try and polish their skills. And these are, yes, they go on stage, but these are important skills they're developing, because when they become adults later, they'll be presenting. They need to develop their presentation skill. They need to know to deal with the butterflies that they get before they get onto stage. That's all part of the learning process. And once they get that, go through that process, they should be better equipped in dealing with when they have to do that when they're adults.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Suresh. And I think what's really come across there is your real passion for students and their well-being at KTJ and developing them. And certainly that's what I see from you on a daily basis. And, I think we're very lucky to have you running our pastoral care at KTJ. So for those of you, for the attendees, I've just published on the chat my email address if you want to get in touch with me later, and also that of the registrar if you want to to discuss further the possibility of your child coming to KTJ. We hope within the next week or so to be able to open up the school again for tours. Obviously there are a number of procedures in place because of SOPs, which will make it not quite the normal experience, but I think you do really benefit from coming and seeing the KTJ site. Everyone talks about how tranquil and quiet it is here compared to, say, KL, how green it is, and it's a lovely place to live and work. So we've come to the end of today's virtual open day. Thank you very much for joining us. This webinar has been recorded, and so it will soon be available on our KTJ YouTube channel as well, where you'll also find last week's A-level open day. Next week, we have open days on IGCSE and boarding, and please do feel free to join us for those. In the meantime, stay safe and enjoy your weekend. Goodbye.